Wait.
Hello, everyone. I want to introduce you to someone. This is Boris. You may look at me like I'm crazy and say, that's just a wheelchair, but I have to disagree. Let's look at it from this angle. If I had a service dog to help me get around in public, or even a person to help me with any task I needed on hand, they have rights, don't they? They are not just my objects to be tossed about or played with. Why is Boris any different? What gives anyone the right to grab my service dog versus my wheelchair unless asked first? Nothing. If I was in your way, well, in the wheelchair, would you think to ask me to move or assume I needed help and move me yourself? Now, if I was standing in your way, it's most unlikely you would grab my shoulders and move me before asking. Well, when I am sitting in Boris, his handlebars are my shoulders and should not be touched without permission. When I am moved by anyone, with noble intentions or not, it turns me, as well as Boris, into powerless objects that have limited to no control over what happens to us. Please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't help others ever or don't do kind acts without being asked. I'm not saying that at all. You need to be aware of a person's feelings and their sense of control, especially people in wheelchairs. Now, I've attempted to explain this to people in a much less organized way, and was surprisingly overwhelmed by the amount of people who proceeded to tell me I'm not really in the wheelchair because I can walk. And I can't help but wonder, who is the almighty judge that classifies who really is in a wheelchair? Does it mean if I broke my legs in an accident and was in a wheelchair until they healed, I'm not really in the wheelchair because it's only temporary? Or the 80-year-old guy in a nursing home who sits in a wheelchair but uses his able legs to pull himself around, is he really in the wheelchair? And temporary or not, should anyone sitting in a wheelchair for any reason other than to goof off be treated as less of a person than you? The right answer is no. Everyone is a person and needs to be given the same rights, no matter what traits make them unique. To be totally cliche, I will end this with a serious saying. Think before you act. You never know how powerless a little push can make someone in different shoes feel.